Thank you for joining us, guys. This is Oscar Inclan over here with LordsOfConsciousness.com and BeyondYourMatrix.com, and we're here with Giorgio Tsoukalos from Ancient Aliens. And thank you for joining me and taking the time, really, to do this. This means a lot to a lot of our community and close friends that we have as well, but our people out there for Lords of Consciousness.
Well, thanks very much for having me on for a few minutes, and I'm sitting here with you guys in a tent in the middle of the desert, and let me tell you, it's hot.
Yeah.
And, this is year number 5 of Contact in the Desert, which in my opinion is the best UFO conference in the world all year long. And in previous years, the event was held in July, in August, in September. Now, today is a hot day, so imagine it 20 degrees hotter in September or in August, where we had, for example, I think 2 years ago they had it in August.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really happy that, this is May.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. So, you were born in Switzerland, which I actually did not know, and I'm embarrassed to say so. Because we watch all the seasons, so we love it. My pop, he's a huge fan, and when I sent him a picture of you and I the other day, he was just blown away.
Oh, really?
Awesome. It's a special moment there. But anyways, so I got to learn that you actually came to New York and got your degree in sports info and communication.
Yes.
Which is so cool that you went from, to me, I'm a huge sports fan, so that you went from that to what you're doing now. How did that transformation occur? What happened?
So my father is from Greece, my mother is from Austria. I grew up in Switzerland, and but my grandfather and my great-grandfather on my father's side, they're Greek Americans from Queens, New York.
Wow.
And so I went to college in upstate New York, Ithaca College, and I graduated with a degree in sports communications because at that same time I wanted to become and I already had interned in various professional bodybuilding events, and I wanted to become a professional bodybuilding promoter.
Wow.
Which I then did from 1998 until 2005.
Wow.
But at the same time, in 1998, I started a little publication called Legendary Times Magazine. And I did both things sort of at the same time. And in 2005, there was things happened in my life where my boss was let go in the professional bodybuilding world, and I had to make a decision.
Yeah.
Do I dedicate my time full-time to Legendary Times, or do I stay with the pro bodybuilding promotion? And I decided to go with Legendary Times because the truth of the matter is that I've loved the aliens since I was 2 years old.
Okay.
So it was my grandma who first introduced me to the Ancient Astronaut theory.
Wow.
Because while she was a very, very religious woman, Catholic household, she was still very open-minded, and so sometimes she would read bedtime stories to me of Edgar Cayce's Atlantis or Chariots of the Gods when I was 5-6 years old.
That's cool.
And so she planted the seed.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And actually, if I may share a personal experience, our daughter, she created in school what falls from the sky during fall. And she wrote everything, and you flip it, the last one is UFOs. And it was so funny.
Oh, that's great.
And I was like, and that is inspirational to hear because those are future generations, right? To get this message out to. So in saying that, one of my questions is, what is your current take on the UFO phenomenon and how it applies to our ancient civilizations that you found? Or that have been found, I should say.
Before I answer that question, I'd like to add something to what you just said earlier.
Yeah.
So, remember in the mid-90s when the first Jurassic Park movie came out?
Yes.
10 years later, statistically, there was an uptick of, I think, 5,000% of college students in registering themselves to become paleontologists.
Wow.
Now imagine 10 years from now, I wonder if there will be an uptick in registrations at college for archaeology, anthropology, and astronomy.
Yeah.
With these young brains having been primed
Yeah.
with ancient aliens information.
Yeah.
So can you imagine if 10 years from now, future astronomers and archaeologists and anthropologists don't necessarily have a problem anymore to explore other alternative views of history?
Yeah.
And by alternative views of history, I'm not referring to this fake news stuff that's going around right now.
Even
because
just taught in our
because now you can even now say that 2 + 2 equals 4. Well, that's fake news. I mean, that's the point we've reached right now. That not even facts are considered facts anymore. I mean, the flat Earth theory has made a resurgence. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Come on now. That's complete utter nonsense. Says the guy talking about aliens. I mean, even I draw the line somewhere.
It's true. No, you're right. That's a great point. So on your, it's beautiful to hear that your grandmother opened this door to you. Have you, since then and now, had any personal experiences, like any sightings or anything that has reinforced what you do in your beliefs?
So for the longest time, I've never seen a UFO, but I was as convinced 20 years ago as I am today about the Ancient Astronaut theory, and I didn't need to see a UFO. But in August of 2014, actually here at this event, Contact in the Desert in Joshua Tree, from about 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. or midnight, there was a sky watch with these night vision goggles.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful, beautiful, clear night. And as it got closer to midnight, the guy providing the glasses, his name is Ed Grimsley, who has since unfortunately passed away, he was getting tired, so he started to collect the glasses, the goggles. And there was nothing really eventful that happened in those 2 hours. But as we were handing back these goggles, this really tall kid, he says into the round quite loudly, "Hey, what are these 2 additional stars doing inside the Big Dipper?" And everybody is just, turning around, looking up. And sure enough, the Big Dipper is one of the most recognizable constellations on the night sky.
Right.
So, even a child knows what the Big Dipper is. It's that thing with the ladle or the handle, and then you have 4 stars creating a receptacle, this rectangle. Now imagine on the inside of that, if you look regularly at the sky, it's black. There's nothing in there. Now imagine 2 additional stars. So now there's 6 stars, and 2 at the center of that of the rectangle, and all of us are seeing this. If there's 2 people, you start to question yourself.
Yeah.
But not with 28 people. And quite a few of us were still incredibly sober. So, and even I think, even if you are a little bit inebriated, you don't start seeing things all of a sudden. So you still know what you saw anyway. And so now imagine those 2 stars getting brighter and then dimming again, and after 30 seconds getting brighter, dimming again, and after 30 seconds, the third time, when they got brighter, they started to move out of the rectangle of the Big Dipper, and equidistant, they flew away or moved away, and then about 30 seconds in, and it disappeared into wherever.
That's awesome. That's incredible. That's really
cool. 28 of us saw that.
Yeah.
And so the only, to answer your question, if this reinforced, my idea about, the things I talk about, well, it was incredible to have seen that, because we knew what we saw. I mean, there's no doubt what we saw.
Right.
And before I went to bed that night, all I could think of is, what do the pilots look like? That was my thought. Yes.
No, and speaking of, I'm glad that you said that, because I got your little astronaut guy here.
Okay, right.
That I got yesterday.
Yeah, he's from Veracruz, Mexico. Really amazing.
You know what I love about that? Because I mentioned to you in our personal, being born in Mexico, I'm starting to find my roots again in our indigenous past. And I fell in love with this when I saw it, because not only is it part of my indigenous, and involves like so many other questions out there.
Where do you live?
I live in Temecula, California.
Okay, so if you ever find yourself in New York City next time, so if you're ever in New York City and you want to see the actual clay figurine of this Rocket Man, or I call him the Rocket Man. He's considered a god of textiles. That's what the plaque is in the museum from about 700 AD. But that is at the Museum of Natural History in New York City in the Maya collection.
Nice.
Or in the Olmec section of the Maya collection. But just wonderful. And, you know, I urge anyone, if you live in a bigger city and you have a museum, go to it. It's not as boring as you may think it is. And sometimes there are still discoveries to be made out there, like weird-looking stones or weird-looking figurines. It's all part of the puzzle. So, you know, everybody can join on this adventure.
Exactly. Thank you. And I have one last question.
Yes.
Now, do you believe that all the structures that we've uncovered and this amazing technology that you said in your speech last night, you don't believe that aliens made these, that the humans did, and that they were given the technology to learn to do this?
Technology and knowledge.
Yeah, technology and knowledge.
Technology and knowledge, because I'm often asked, well, how come we've never, or so far, why haven't we discovered an extraterrestrial tool, or you know, some type of, well, high tech, a machine, or you know, something, machinery or something. And the answer, you know, if you think about it, is an interesting one, because if you have, for example, a hospital that is being built, clearly there is machinery on that construction site, well, because it's a construction site. But the day that hospital opens and the doors open to the surgery room, there isn't a chance in hell that a cement mixer is still inside that surgery room. Why? Because the tools are at the next construction site. So, the extraterrestrials, because, you know, sort of the same physics, whether it's quantum or not, physics applies throughout the entire universe. So, things that apply to us perhaps also apply to extraterrestrials. So, for them to come here, they also need to be concerned about weight issues, because the heavier an object is, the more slower and faster it goes. You need more energy. So they would have never brought steel trusses with them or construction elements. They would have only brought along with them the tools that they could use to manipulate whatever raw materials they can find on Earth. And they instructed our ancestors to help them in their quest. And the ancestors did it because someone just descended from the sky.
I was going to say, and that makes sense. So do you think that in doing that, are they trying to send a message and helping us as to evolve as a consciousness, as a unity? Or what do you think? Because I love your card. It says, "Don't die wandering, crack the code." So, what is the code then? What do you think the code? What does the code mean, in other words, to you? And is that part of what is left behind to give us a message?
You know, that tagline, I've had it since 1999 or 2000, and you are the first person to ever ask, what does that mean? Yes.
Wow, really? That's awesome.
And in fact, if I may tell a quick story, don't die wondering, crack the code. It was actually, I was hanging out with my good friend Hans No Way Ray, the mountain biker. And we came up with that thing because it's on one of his posters in his garage with all his trophies and stuff like that. So, but you're the first one to ask about it, and you know, it's all about curiosity, man, and don't ever die wondering what's going on. Because, I think that wonderment is something that should be a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
Not because there seems that in this day and age, especially in mainstream science, bless their heart, they're doing amazing work, but they've taken out the wonderment of the world. And I'm not saying that, that they should start questioning things. Of course not. Science is science. But if you have people, even like Einstein, suggesting that there may be something more into our reality, or Stephen Hawking and all those guys, or Michio Kaku, I think we should listen, because those are some great brains.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
It's my pleasure.
It's been a wonderful conversation.
Yes.
And
we'll do one some other time a little bit longer.
Awesome. Sounds good.